We're going to go to Justin Berniard now to introduce the fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next fight of the evening is in the Tuff-N-Uff 160-pound weight class. Introducing first, standing in the blue corner, making his Tuff-N-Uff debut, fighting out of Torres System, Las Vegas, Nevada, Francisco Bone Crusher Martinez Jr. Standing across the cage in the red corner with 1 win and no losses, fighting out of Extreme Couture, Las Vegas, Nevada, Michael Hobby. Referee in charge of the action inside the cage is Mark Smith.
Here we go, Joey, for some more action in the Tuff-N-Uff 160-pound future stars of MMA weight class. Both fighters are ready. Ref Mark Smith calls a start to the action. Here we go. And there goes that takedown from Extreme Couture, Michael Hobby. He's pressing against the cage here, Joey, looking for that takedown. Bone Crusher is not going to let him take him down easily.
Man, if you're Francisco, this is such an exhausting place to be in, especially fighting that takedown. Wow, great high crotch by Michael Hobby.
And it looks like there Francisco's pulling the guard. He can't get it, looking for that guillotine choke. He's trying to do a standing guillotine, John Jones style. He needs to watch out and make sure he has that because he doesn't want to tire out his arms in the first round. I know we've both been there, Joey. We both put a lot into it in the first round. I've been tired second and third and burnt our arms out trying to hit submissions that weren't there.
Of course, going for these submissions. You know, it's all that blood fills up in that muscle, and it just literally just makes your arms feel like jello, which just doesn't feel good in the later rounds.
Yeah, exactly, especially when you're trying to throw a jab. You throw a jab and you feel like you have a 20-pound weight strapped to your arm.
No fun.
Michael Hobby on top in the half guard there. Very good takedown to get where he's at. Of course, that's that Extreme Couture base there. Randy Couture, you know, as an Olympic wrestler, and he puts that in with a lot of his camp. And all the coaches there, they all implement wrestling as a base for a lot of their fighters.
Yeah, just that, you know, that fighting style, just that grinding always in your face. It's very annoying if you're the guy on the bottom or getting grinded on. But Michael Hobby is definitely displaying great technique here, especially when it comes to that style.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's keeping him against the cage, keeping pressure. He's landing a couple punches here and there, but I think more he's working to advance his position. Now, if I'm Francisco Bone Crusher Martinez, first thing I would have done is I would have shrimped and put him back in full guard. But now at the end of the round, there's not much you can do. You have to give that round to Michael Hobby out of Couture's. It's a very good round for him. Grind out, kept him against the cage, and was in dominant position the whole time.
I agree with you. You know, it's Francisco showed great resilience as well. But like I said, I give that round to Hobby.
You know, I think one of the things for Francisco is that this was his amateur debut. And I think he had a little bit of nerves coming in that first round, but now he's got punched in the face a little bit and had a guy control him on the mat. I think he's going to come out this round a little better. But we'll see. Maybe Michael Hobby can continue what he's been doing and just get that grind out wrestling on him. You can hear Javier Torres yelling at him in the corner saying that you got to move, you got to move, you got to circle away from the cage, land some punches, and you got to stay on the guy. You can't let him get against the cage and take you down like that.
Yeah, and that's all good instruction from Trinity Boy.
Here we go, getting ready to get this second round started. Ref checking to make sure both fighters have their mouthpiece in. Cage is cleared, waiting for the doors to lock. And here we go in the second round, this 160-pound weight class. All right, both fighters touch gloves again. Francisco's got to move better. He's got to be in and out and keep those hands up. Good uppercut there. Michael Hobby doing the same thing again, looking for that body lock to a double leg takedown, having fighters up. Oh, look at that. We got some advertisements coming off the cage.
They're ripping off sponsors.
There you go.
Usually sponsors are ripping us off, but they're doing it.
Exactly. These fighters fighting back against the sponsors. Great head kick there. Doesn't land. Francisco looking a little bit more loose in this round, looking better, looking to land a big haymaker. Good body kick there. Michael Hobby looking for that takedown again, man. He's very resilient on trying to land that takedown. Good head kick. Michael Hobby needs to keep his hands up better if he wants to land that.
Well, Francisco, you know, since Hobby looks like he's more of a wrestler, grappler, Francisco's got to stop moving backwards. He's got to take 2 steps back and pivot out.
Yeah, he definitely needs to get an angle, especially when he's going to land those punches in the head kick. He can't just come forward because for all he knows, he can throw that head kick and then Hobby can come in and get that single leg and take him down. Let's see how Hobby does against the takedown defense against Bone Crusher. You can hear his corner over there, Hobby's corner over there from Extreme Couture telling him to get that wizard and circle out towards the cage to try to get away from that. He's got a nice overhook there. Oh, tries to go with the lazy roll throw and does not work out for him. Hobby lands on top, Joey.
You know, he could have been in a worse position. At least he retained guard. Now he's got to be able to use it.
Joey, if you're a Hobby in this situation, are you trying to stay in the guard right there and get your arms free?
No, Tolan. I'm just, you know, I'm not the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world, but I'm just gonna put my hips on his, my heels on his hips and push him off, because Hobby, he's so good at that top position, staying heavy.
Bone Crusher looked like he's just laying there, not trying to get out of that guard, not trying to pull him in, not trying to put him in any other submissions. He just looks like he's just happy, and that's the end of the round. Now, Joey, it looked like Francisco had that first round. I mean, I had the beginning of that second round in the first half of it, but like we said in the last
Big
fight,
shout out to our commentators, Tuff-N-Uff alumni, Tolan the Hawk Garcia,
a couple punches
and
there
Joey
and finished the round on top.
Angelo. Coming off his
Who do you think got that round?
I'm going to say Michael Hobby. Just like I said, he wound up on top and finished a round like that, and you know, that's usually what the last thing judges remember. You know, Francisco looked like he was throwing a little more, but he got kind of lazy trying to throw a spinning back kick. Looked like it was more of a panic kick, but you know, I'm going to give that 2 rounds to Michael Hobby.
Right, you know, and the thing that messed Bone Crusher up in that second round was he tried to hit that lateral from the cage, and everybody knows that you got to put a little forward pressure and use the guy's momentum against him if you're going to hit that. Javier Torres not looking happy at his fighter right now, down 2 rounds to nothing, and he needs a finish if he wants to take home the victory tonight, Joey.
Of course, of course.
Here we go, action round 3 in this 160-pound weight class. Michael Hobby coming out throwing for the fences, looking for the takedown right now. Gets the nice double leg, has the fighter against the cage. This is exactly where the Couture guy wants to be.
He's just got to watch his neck. But I think he's okay right here.
Yeah, I think he's good. Francisco Martinez not really looking like he's going to put him back in guard. He's just hanging out in side control or half guard right now. Both fighters right now in the 3rd round. Michael Hobby leading this by 2 rounds to nothing. He's doing a really good job maintaining a lot of good body pressure. Trying to block that arm with his right knee so he can get a little half guard crucifix going on there and land some shots.
Man, he's got a solid base, keeping his knees in wide so he's not getting swept. I mean, it's these amateurs are getting better and better. I'm always afraid to see how the future of professional MMA is going to look.
It looks like he's going for an Americana there. He's trying to get it. You know, he's got to bring that arm closer to his head, and he wants to go slowly bring that wrist back like a paintbrush and rub it against the mat. When you lift it off the mat like that, like he just did, you're actually helping the fighter out. He just had the mount, he's rolling, and now he's looking to get that rear naked choke. He's about to go back to mount again. Good job on Francisco Martinez's part by not letting him take his back completely and sink in that choke, Joey. Great roll over there by Bone Crusher to get back on top. He's kind of in his open guard, and they stand back up against the cage. This is a good 3rd round, Joe. I think this is the best out of the first 2 rounds. It was all right. It was mainly Michael Hobby for the most part, but right now both fighters are leaving it all on the mat.
Like I said, it's about, you know, Javier Torres. You know, his fighters may not be the best technically, but they're the toughest guys that step in the cage. Definitely the toughest.
Very good fight tonight in the 160-pound weight class, and we've had some exciting fights so far. 2 great fights have gone the distance. Me and Joey both give the fight to the red corner to Michael Hobby. We score this at the least 2-1, but I'm betting it's a unanimous decision, 3-0 Michael Hobby.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you there, Tolan. I think it's 3-0. You know, Hobby just looks. You know, Michael Hobby just looks like the more in shape fighter. He looked like he had a better game plan too. Knew that he wanted to go in there and press the action, just and stay close to him, and kind of grind him out, which is a good game plan, especially an opponent like Bone Crusher.
Yes, he definitely exploited that Extreme Couture grind out, in your face, on top of you, always pressure, keeping you against the cage, takeout wrestling, man. He definitely made his camp proud by doing that. And in his corner, he's got Kyle Griffin. So he's got a good coach in his corner, and both fighters to the center of the ring. Justin to call the winner right now, and here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we have your winner by unanimous decision, the red corner, Michael Hobby.
So like we said, Michael Hobby gets it by unanimous decision, making his camp very proud out of Extreme Couture, going to 2-0 on his amateur record. Francisco Bone Crusher Martinez, it's his first fight. You know, the only thing that I would work on if I was him would just be his jiu-jitsu when he's on the ground there, because as soon as he got taken down, he just stayed there and couldn't advance his position at all, Joey.